Good morning, Nigeria. I always say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes constantly on the streets. And we try to bring you the best trending stories and dissect them as best we can. In our first story, in a new development, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has asked the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to order Senator Natasha to delete what he says is a satirical apology which she allegedly posted online. Now, this post appears to be gaining traction and has left many wondering if there should be limits to free speech and perhaps even political rhetoric. So what is the issue with Natasha's apology? Well, in April, Senator Akpoti, who represents Kogi Central, published an apology on social media stating that she was sorry for the crime of maintaining dignity and self-respect. But before that post, an existing court order barred both parties from making public statements about an ongoing case involving allegations of sexual harassment. So basically, in a nutshell, a gag order is binding on both parties. And Senator Akpabio's lawyers, led by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Kehinde Ogunwumiju, want the court to compel Senator Natasha to delete the content she posted across all her social media platforms, issue a formal apology in 2 national newspapers, and submit an affidavit proving that she has complied. Senator Akpabio is not having it, but I will say this. The rule of law should always take precedent. You know, if both parties are binded by a gag order from the courts, whether it's satire or comedy, the rule of law should take precedence. And so I think that if gag order is gag order, the courts decide. Let's take a look at social media. Ebitu says, this whole Akpabio versus Natasha episode is turning Nigeria's Senate into a tragic comedy. When issues of governance should take center stage, we are stuck watching ego wars and courtroom drama. Natasha as well should provide enough evidence in time too. What a mess. SN says, as there are no longer more important matters to attend to, some might argue that this is actually true politics, both in and out of the field. They are giving each other a bass boost. In our next story, a deeply personal TikTok post by a young Nigerian woman is drawing national attention to the unseen realities of long-term caregiving. Now, in the video, she shared her story of caring for her mother, who's been bedridden for 15 years following a stroke. Since she was just 10 years old, this young lady has taken care of her mother every day, feeding, lifting her, cleaning her, and waiting in silence and without support. Let's have a look at this let's take a look at this brave young woman.
My mom has been sick for the past 15 years, and the doctors told us to give up on her because there's nothing they can do about it. We just have to manage her like that until the day God calls her to rest with him. Today is my mom's birthday. She turned 63, and yeah, this is my mom. We've been taking care of her for the past 15 years. She doesn't talk, she doesn't walk, she doesn't feed herself. She literally does nothing for herself. She has to be helped to lay down, to sit down, honestly. So the memories that I have of her are not much, which is quite painful. My one wish is for me to be able to have a last dance with my mom in good health before she leaves this earth. When the doctors told us to just forget about it, all of us decided that we're just going to leave everything in God's hand because there's literally nothing he cannot do. We believe that he's going to put an end to this situation. Today being my mom's birthday, I only prayed one prayer. I said, God, please.
Now, her mother, like she said, is now 63 years old and can no longer speak or move independently. A brief moment of hope came after brain surgery in 2020, but the symptoms returned, and the doctors are saying that there's nothing more that they could do. What is lingering here for me is not just medical hardship, but the emotional weight of this silent care work that this young woman is engaging in. And it's the kind that continues long after friends and well-wishers have left you to deal with, things like this on your own. I think this is the concept of invisible labor brought to life, the labor that often is so intensive and so emotional, but nobody sees. And this type of invisible, quiet labor should gain as much recognition and respect as public service. This young woman is doing a great job that not a lot of us can do. Let's take a look at social media. And these are some comments on TikTok. Cakes by Semi says, I can relate. I've been there, just that mine eventually died in my arms in 2018. I'm so sorry for your loss. We'll take one more tweet, one more comment. Michelle says, you are a strong, sweet girl, and I commend you. May God's will be done, and may that wish please God in this situation manifest. I pray strength for you and your family. Happy 63rd birthday, mommy. So many young people team have dedicated their lives to this silent care work. And it's something that we don't really talk about, but they're managing their lives and growing their lives while taking care of their ailing or aging parents.
It's sad, it's a pity, but I celebrate her strength. Talking about the 25-year-old who have had to do this for the past 15 years. And her mom is so beautiful. Unfortunately, she has to deal with these health challenges that she didn't perhaps bring upon herself. I just hope that a lot of persons, by way of this video, will come to her aid because I'm asking where her extended family members, perhaps she's even the first child and needs to also take care of her younger ones if she has any. And so the weight is a lot and she needs Nigerians to come help her and support her in any way they can as we speak right now. These are the kinds of persons that NGOs, great Nigerians can come and, you know, make donations for that can help her mom even much more. And then to the story of Natasha and the Senate president, I am actually tired of this story, the back and forth, especially because Natasha on her own part is a lawyer and understands that when the courts have decided on a matter saying, do not speak about it, whether in writing or anything, it's a breach of the whole process. And as a lawyer, one expects better from her. I guess that's why the Senate president decided to take her to court again on this matter. Bring out evidence, do everything. Let's just get this settled with so that we can focus on pressing national issues that affect average Nigerians that they are both meant to represent at the end of the day, because this is taking away from what is important at the end of the day. So please do the needful, both of you.
Exactly, but I'll start with the young girl, you know, taking, her mother is beautiful, I must say, and happy birthday to her mother. I just hope that people can come together and help, because it's beautiful to see that that girl could have run away, Olamide. She could have looked at everything that happened, that is happening, and the stress and all, and run away, but she stayed and she's taking care of her mother, so she's definitely going to receive blessings from God. But I also pray that people come to her aid, because she cannot do it alone at the end of the day.
Amen.
You know,
Thank
when
you so
Natasha
much.
started this whole thing, I used to kind of support her, but right now I don't understand what is going on. It's become shameful because you're now turning the Senate to a ridicule, like it's the back and forth, back and forth. What is really happening? We've asked for evidence plenty times, no evidence, just talk, 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 and it's really getting tiring. I always say you need to know when to stop dancing, because people were praising her at some points, but right now the drums are fading and it's really going to hit her hard. So if there are evidence, Senator Natasha, if there are evidence, this is the time to bring it out, and enough of the cho-cho-cho. We're tired.
It is indeed giving a bass boost. Well, Ibrahim, just before the break, we took a story about a young woman who's been taking care of her mother for about 15 years. You know, taking care of this woman. This is a girl who's going through school, who has her whole life ahead of her. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think it's encouraging and also worrying at the same time, because you know, this is a lady who, of course, the care of her mother, she enjoyed it for like 10 years or thereabouts, and then she's been taking care of her own mother, you know, for, you know, 15 years and more. It's so sad that, and then it goes to show that she's cultured, she's a good girl, you know, for her to stay with her mother for that, you know, number of years. It is one thing for you to birth a child, it's another thing for the child to look after you. But, you know, the girl will be thinking, or maybe the mom will also be thinking, this is just too early for this girl. She'll have to go to school, she'll have to fend for herself and all of that. So whoever is going to help them, you know, to come to her aid, to come to the family's aid, so that they can help the mama and the young girl. But I know that whatever it is, she will get the reward in this life and the hereafter, and I pray for her and her family. Senator Natasha, Senator Akpabio, I don't know, the amount of strength and energy we gave to Senator Natasha's story, you know, about the sexual harassment, unsubstantiated sexual harassment, you know, that she took not just within Nigeria, but to outside of the country to shame this country, not just the Senate president. There is another professor, well, she calls herself Professor Duru, Sandra Duru, Professor Mbeke, you know, coming out with this time round evidence, so-called evidence, you know, releasing the phone calls she had with Senator Natasha, and then all of the things that Senator Natasha said about, you know, Senator Akpabio, claiming that she was only trying to get at Senator Akpabio without having any evidence. And she saw this and she was angry, and she started releasing all of these, evidences that she said she has even submitted to the security agencies in the US. So this has come out. We need Senator Natasha to come out beyond saying that she doesn't know she doesn't know Professor Mbeke, to also give us evidence that yes, we had Senator Akpabio, sexually harassing you, rather than just, shaming the country. So I think we should take this even beyond the way it is. All of the noise that we made when she came out, we should also make the noise for her to come out with evidence, regardless of the court.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Fun fact for you guys on the story about the caregiver. Studies actually show that young women are 37% more likely than men to stay and take care of aging and ailing parents.
Yeah, true.
No shade, Ibrahim.
True.
Yeah.